Today's topic, I think, is going to be a fun one. Now, I didn't eat avocado toast. Anybody have avocado toast for breakfast today? One guy? Did anybody buy it? Okay, I don't know if anybody saw that article, but the financial industry believes the reasons the millennials can't buy homes is because they eat too much avocado toast. So I think we're here to debunk that myth today and a few others along the way. So let's start with the basics. Who is a millennial? Turns out nobody knows. There is no agreed upon definition. But the general consensus based on everything I've written or read is someone born in the mid-'80s to the early 2000s. So I guess you can define them more maybe as a state of mind than a certain age. Just show of hands, how many millennials in the audience today? Well, it's 20-year range, it's pretty easy. But so let's look at some of the trends. How are people actually connecting with millennials? There's 3 trends that I'm going to highlight here. I think you're seeing the rise of branded entertainment and branded experiences above traditional advertising. So this is Bumble. For those of you that are on the app, Bumble set up a NYC pop-up shop where they created the Hive. It was a physical community experience for those users on the app to come in, hosted first dates, hosted networking events, speaker series, etc. This is incredibly expensive for them to do in downtown New York, but they decided to do this instead of run mass advertising because it's a wave of branded experiences that their consumer wants over a traditional ad. Another trend we're seeing a lot of use of lately is I think influencers are obviously pervasive, and any campaign you speak about, someone's asking what's the influencer strategy. This was just the recently launched campaign in North America by ASICS, using Steve Aoki as the main influencer behind that. It's actually being run out of North America, out of Canada. And this just recently launched last week, so TBC what comes out of this one, but you're seeing a lot more, whether it's local, global, or collaboration. Influencers are pretty pervasive across the board. And I think you're also seeing a very strong trend towards connecting with people on a very human level. So this was the Always Like a Girl campaign. If you have a second, check it out. It's one of the most powerful ads. It's very Dove-like in its essence, but it was launched at a Super Bowl campaign in 2015, and it's still going strong today. And you're seeing tons of brands, whether it's on causes like this, or it's sustainability, or it's environment, or gender equality. You're seeing a lot of brands take a stance and actually put campaigns and money behind it. But I think the big question is that enough? Just to follow the trends and input them into your portfolio, will those tactics guarantee success? And while I'm not saying that those 3 examples aren't doing it, we're not going that in depth today, what I am saying is that there is no silver bullet answer here. There is no golden rule that if we just do these things, we will be able to connect with millennials. But what I do think there are is a set of principles that if we use them as the foundation of our thinking and our ideation and how we run our business, then we can be successful. So in the spirit of cliches, I had to give them a cliche name. I call them the 4 I's. I number 1, be intimate. How well, like really how well, do we know the consumer's needs? And I'm not talking about from a marketing standpoint. I'm going right back to the core product. Do we actually know what they expect of us, and are we actually tailoring it as much as we possibly can with every ounce of our bodies to be for them? So here's a great example just launched by Amex, and I think we have some of the people from Amex in the room today. They realized that their card holders and their rewards programs identified with a 40-year-old plus, and that wasn't the future of their business necessarily. So they needed to create something that resonated with the millennial audience. Instead of just running an ad campaign, bringing influencers in, having a branded experience shop, and taking their current product and trying to push it towards millennials and saying, this works for you, they tore it right back down to the basics and rebuilt the product from the ground up. So the Cobalt card, recently launched, redesigns their entire rewards experience so that millennials can redeem rewards and accrue rewards for the things that they actually want in their lives. Ubers, Airbnbs, morning coffees, dinners out, those are the types of things that get rewarded and they can use the rewards for. So there's a great example of actually going right back down to the foundation and starting from there up. Second I is to be incremental. Unfortunately, the product enough is not alone. It's just table stakes now. There's a great book by a Harvard professor, Young Mi Moon, where she talks about purchasing habits a decade ago versus now. So Tide and Gain. 15, 20 years ago, people bought Tide because they thought it was a better detergent. The packaging, the pricing, the marketing said Tide is better than Gain. Today, people basically think that all products will basically do what they say they're going to do. Whether it's no-name detergent, whether it's Gain, whether it's Tide, you think you're going to get your clothes clean. You really do not care. It's about what else, what other brand attributes on top of the product are you making your decision on? And that varies category by category. It could be customer service, environmental, how a company teaches or treats its employees. It could be its causes it supports. It could be the way that its packaging design, its social channels. But I think the point is that they're looking for what else do you have to offer me? So IKEA, I think, is a brand that has continually, subtly reinvented itself and offered incremental opportunities to be more than just a flat pack furniture company. Couple really good examples. Pain point number one with IKEA, putting it together. Has anybody ever heard of Taskrabbit? Taskrabbit users? So Taskrabbit is basically an online marketplace where you can hire someone to do anything from put together your IKEA furniture to stand in an Apple Store line for you. They've been partnering with Taskrabbit for a couple of years, and last month they actually acquired 100% of Taskrabbit. So I think you'll see a lot more from them in terms of enabling people to put their furniture together. They're now partnering reportedly with Amazon or Alibaba, to be determined, because they know that the new consumer wants to shop online and doesn't always want to drive 25 minutes to a giant warehouse. On top of that, anybody use the IKEA Place app? When Apple launched the new augmented reality technology, they created an app where you can actually, through the AR platform, see and walk around in a 360 view what a piece of furniture looks like in your home. So removing the pain point of, I don't know what this is going to look like, I don't know how to design my place, they created an app that you can now actually see what something's going to look like before you even buy it. And the last one that I'm going to roll this video is they do a lot of small things like this where they take their product, but they just add that incremental touch on how you can use it to make your life a little bit better. So this one has to do with their food products and cooking. The fourth I is to be integrated. I think we've all probably heard the adage that the best marketers are storytellers. But what's really neglected from that, we really need to add to that statement, is what type of story we're telling. I don't think that we're screenwriters that we're writing a specific narrative, that we're trying to bring everybody along this emotional journey to the exact same conclusion. We have to look at ourselves more like architects that are designing the environments for people to actually live their lives and discover us in. So instead of marketing to people, we should rather be looking to create the circumstances for people to discover us by finding points in their everyday lives that we can subtly weave ourselves into. And the team from Herschel does probably one of the most amazing jobs of this that I've seen in the market. The head of marketing for Herschel was actually supposed to be here today, but couldn't be here due to travel conflicts as they're out in Vancouver. So I thought I'd kind of do a little case study on them for them. They do an amazing job of weaving their brand into people's lifestyles. So they realize that their brand stands for discovery and travel. That's the inspirational point that their bags bring. Couple things they do. They know their target lives life on social media. So instead of having a bunch of product-related images on their social, their Instagram platform is life well traveled. It's image after image of lust-worthy destinations, images, shots that you know as a consumer you want to go to, you want to be taken there. They do like-minded collaborations with like-minded brands like Stussy, which is a very surf-centric brand, and New Balance, which is a retro brand that's having a bit of a revival. And then they also do things like this here, which is the Journal, which is their print and digital publication, where they work with local influencers to actually provide guides to the cities, to the places you want to travel. So this is on their website right now. It's a guide to the places to eat, drink, stay, and be entertained in Brooklyn. That's a marketing tactic, but it's also a piece of value, and that's also right in line with what people want to do with their lives. So how can we create environments for people to discover us versus marketing or shouting to them? And the last I is to be intertwined. We are defined not by sponsorship, not by marketing, not by social, not by apps. We are defined by the sum of the parts. All the parts get put in a blender, and we get one opinion from the consumer. And yes, we are a sponsorship marketing council, but if you've noticed, there isn't a sponsorship example up here because I think when talking to this audience, they don't care about sponsorship. They don't care about your sponsorship department versus your social department versus your customer service department. They just get one experience at the end of the day. So we need to make sure that all those are so intertwined and that none of them are failing along the way, because we can write the best sponsor program possible, but if customer service sucks, it's over. Warby Parker does an amazing job of this. There's a podcast I've listened to 1,000,000 times where one of the co-founders, Neil Blumenthal, speaks with Tony Robbins, and he talks about how important this is when someone hears about Warby Parker, how they want someone to hear about them, who it's from, and what type of messaging it is. When you go into the store, what type of experience you have trying on the frames. Small things like realizing that people don't want just head-high mirrors. They want full-length body mirrors when they try on glasses to see their full look. Taking it even a step further, when you call Warby Parker, a real-life human being answers the phone in 6 seconds. And when they ship you, say they're going to ship you a product in 5, it's likely going to show up in 4. These are all the little things on top of all the marketing they do that is all about their brand. So if we're not intertwined across our entire business and someone's not keeping an eye on that, it doesn't matter what we do as marketers, we're dead in the water. So the final thoughts I'll leave you with before we have Melissa and Christopher come up here and take us through some amazing case studies and work and insights that they've done is 2 things. First, I mentioned there was really no sponsorship examples up here. And I think because more and more traditional sponsorship as we define it is becoming irrelevant to connecting with the modern consumer. But it plays a more important role than ever. It's not about asset exchange and rights fees and exclusivity. It's about look at those 4 eyes. Intimate. If you aren't intimate enough with your consumer, who is? Who knows them more? Incremental. If you don't have the resources, time, or capabilities to offer something incremental, who can you collaborate with to do so? Integrated. Where are people living their lives? What partners should you be aligning with? Whether it's a festival, it's sports, arts, it's another brand. Where can you find them where they're living their lives versus creating something separate and brand owned that nobody wants to come to in the first place? And then intertwined, that one's kind of your own thing that you have to figure out internally. But sponsorship really hits 3 of those 4 eyes. And the last thing is that was a lot of content, a lot of rhetoric, probably a lot of cliches. But this quote, I think, sums it up unbelievably well. You have to think of your product and company as a personality, as an actual person with a heartbeat. If you think about your brand and everything it does like a person, like how you would want someone you care about to act, your best friend, your siblings, your parents, your children, and you make sure that you take the care to teach them and guide them like I teach my 2-year-old daughter, I think naturally you'll just do a lot of those things without even having to think about them.